Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It's Josh Goldstein coming at you. We are about to go live here. We are live, actually. And today I'm coming at you with President Trump's new executive order on immigration. It just came out. It came out a few minutes ago. And I want to describe to you what it means, and what you need to know. Because I read it a lot more narrowly than you would have thought. And if you have questions, please, please, please let me know. I'm here to answer your questions. Everybody wants to know Trump is suspending immigration, and what does it mean? And now we know. And let me pull up my notes summarizing this. Pardon me one second. Hope everybody is doing well. All right. What does this mean? What does it mean? All right. Here are my key takeaways right now. So this applies only to people who are outside the United States as of today, April 20th, April 22nd, 2022. Only people who are outside the United States. So if you're not outside the United States, you don't have to worry about this. It only applies to people who don't already have an immigrant visa. So if you have an immigrant visa and you're unable to come into the United States and you're waiting to get into the United States and you can't get a flight because of the coronavirus, this proclamation does not block you from entering the U.S. Maybe you can't get a flight, but it doesn't block you. Third thing, doesn't apply to you if you are a permanent resident. So if you're a permanent resident and you're outside the United States, you're covered. You can come back. It doesn't apply to anyone in the EB-5 program. So if you are outside the United States and you're seeking an immigrant visa through the EB-5 investor visa program, you do not have to worry. You can still get it. It's not blocked. Doesn't apply to anyone who's the spouse of a U.S. citizen. Doesn't apply to anyone who's the child of a U.S. citizen. So if you're married to a citizen or you're the child of a U.S. citizen and you're waiting for your immigrant visa to come into the United States, you don't have to worry about this. There is a big carve out. Oh, we have some questions. Bushra, I-730, not considered an immigrant visa? No. Bushra, first of all, thank you so much for your question. The I-730 is not, it has nothing to do with immigrant visas. This is somebody seeking asylum, so you don't have to worry about that. You're covered. Thank you for your question. Joni, I'm so happy to see you again. Thank you. Thank you. Come at me with questions. I love your questions, by the way. Ladrone, yo. Good to see you. We have a new one here. We have Raphael from Instagram or YouTube. Thank you so much for your question. It says my wife had an interview scheduled for April 10th. It got canceled. Now we're wondering if she's impacted or not. She's currently in the U.S. and you have valid parole. So Raphael, are you a U.S. citizen or are you a permanent resident? Your wife is in the U.S. with valid. So I'm going to suspect if you have advanced parole that you're going through the adjustment of status process. So I suspect that you have nothing to worry about from this proclamation. We have here Fit in Chance from Periscope. Thank you for your question. How about people on H-1Bs presently outside the U.S.? Temporary work visas are not impacted by this. Temporary work visas are not impacted by this. Let me go through some of my other points and then we'll finish up. Who does this bar? Who does this bar? It bars people who are outside the United States who are the beneficiary of immigrant petitions that were filed by permanent resident petitioners. So if your husband or your wife filed a petition for you and that person only has a green card and is not a U.S. citizen and you're outside the United States and you don't yet have your immigrant visa, then this would bar you. there is a carve out for healthcare professionals, because in the United States, so many of our talented doctors and nurses and care providers are foreign nationals. So thankfully, that's the case. It also applies to people who have employment-based immigrant petitions. So if you're outside the United States and you're the beneficiary of an EB3 petition, for example, and you're waiting, then you would probably be targeted. It doesn't apply to people who are outside the United States who are permanent residents already. Antonio, thank you for helping the community. Thank you for whatever you're doing, my friend. And appreciate you coming on and listening to me. I really appreciate it. Joni, love Joni. I'm a super fan of her. She's got a new picture today, looking great. Says here, so it does not include spouses. We should expect normal processing times to continue after the COVID mania. I like that word, COVID mania continues. It does include spouses. It includes spouses of permanent residents, as I read this. So if you're a U.S. citizen and your husband or wife is outside the United States and you're a U.S. citizen, you don't have to worry. But if you're a permanent resident, you would. Here we have Facebook user Abdul Latif Asiya. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Fit in Chance, thank you. That's a relief. I'm glad to hear. Okay, Moji, what can be done for proof of evidence with your hubby's I-130? Me and my hubby are having issues. We want a divorce and we want to make an inquiry about a green card that's been suspended. Moji, thank you for your question. I would say message me, and I need a little more information to help you out. So please let me know, but I'd be happy to help you. Here's another Facebook user. It says, Josh, thank you for reacting quickly and making a video. I love doing these videos. I love getting the information out there. I appreciate you tuning in and liking these. I hope they're helpful, and I'll keep doing them as long as people pay attention and are getting something out of it. Question says, I have a valid immigrant visa. It expires in 3 months, and from what I understand and from what you say, I should be entering the country as soon as flights resume, right? Yes. If you have an immigrant visa already, you are not subject to Donald Trump's ban if you have an immigrant visa already. The only problem is you got to find a flight and figure out how to come back and be safe, because things are crazy right now. We have another Instagram user, Sayara Islam, because if it is, it's not fair at all. Oh, I think there's an earlier point. Okay. Sayara Islam, thank you so much for your question, by the way. I came on your live the other day. My family and I have been waiting 4 months on our F4 visas, and we got to lawyer to file a mandamus. Is this going to affect my family? First of all, I think you made a great decision by filing mandamus. I file mandamus cases. I love mandamus because it solves people's problems. If you're on an F4 visa, I think that means the petitioner in your case is a permanent resident. Is that right? If the petitioner is a permanent resident, you would be subject to this. So that would be a problem. But keep in mind, this ban is only temporary. It's for 60 days. And they're going to reassess after the end of the 60 days. But I have a feeling that this is going to be with us for a while. President Biden will be inaugurated in January of 2021, and so all of this will go away then. But I suspect that the economy and the coronavirus are not going to disappear 60 days from now. They're going to be with us for a while, and Donald Trump is using this. I mean, I don't want to delve into politics right now because it drives me crazy, and I want to just talk about the impact of this. But I have a feeling that this is going to be with us for a while. Sophia Beatrice from YouTube says, my family-based visa F2B was filed by a permanent resident. Will this affect me? Yes, it will. If you're a permanent resident, this will impact you. You are subject to this ban. But keep in mind, another cause for hope is immediately there's going to be a flurry of lawsuits against this. These lawsuits are going to be filed in favorable jurisdictions, probably here in the state of California. And there's going to be an injunction that is going to be instituted against this. This is what I predict, okay? And it will play out in a very similar way that the litigation did against the Muslim ban. You remember the Muslim ban, the travel ban, call it what you will. There's going to be a Supreme Court case on this proclamation that's going to come out in about 2 months. And I suspect that this will be carved down and become narrow. So maybe litigation will stop this, or at least delay it. Here we have Sayara. Sorry for butchering your name. If the petitioner is a U.S. citizen, then you don't have to worry about this. Let's say Ezra Reinstein says, please discuss the benefits of bankruptcy. We have a scufflaw that doesn't want to pay his credit card bills. I don't know. Josh, I hope you and your family attending this live session are doing good amidst the pandemic. My family are upstairs. My wife just made some brownies. She's stress baking, and I'm stress eating, and I'm gaining weight, and that's not good. And my son is watching Netflix, too much Netflix. So we are safe. Things could be much, much worse. It says here, I'm stuck on our administrative processing 221G for H-1B visas in India. Does this ban apply to you? No, it does not. If you're seeking a temporary work visa, you don't have to worry about this, and you're in good shape, so you don't have to worry about it. We have Karina Andrade just tuned in. Sorry if this was clarified. First of all, Karina, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Thanks for paying attention. I hope this is helpful. We were supposed to get married in June. Congratulations to you. Assuming the order is over, can family coming over to our visit be able to come, assuming it's a visitor visa? This proclamation is well, first of all, I think if you already have I think a visitor visa would be subject to this, so you have to be careful about this. We have Tariq Iqbal. Please respond to my question. I'm going to go back and see if I can find your question. Here we go. Tariq, what about the parents of the U.S. citizens living in America and applied for an I-130? So I'm assuming you're a U.S. citizen and you've applied, or hypothetically you're a U.S. citizen and you applied for your parents. First of all, there are several reasons why they would not have to worry about this. The first is that they're inside the United States. This ban only applies to people who are outside the United States. And secondly, it doesn't apply to people who are the spouses of U.S. citizens. Actually, your question is parents of U.S. citizens. So, actually, as I'm reading this now, there's a carve-out for those who are the spouse of a U.S. citizen. There's a carve-out for people who are the children of the U.S. citizens. But there is, let's see here. Let me just make sure I've got this right. Forgive me. There is no carve-out for the parents of U.S. citizens. So it's a good thing your parents are in the U.S., because if your parents were outside the U.S., it's unclear whether they would be able to come in now because of this. Coming down to the questions. Here we have Harry Mofrad. Thank you so much for your question. What about the parents of U.S. citizens overseas? Yeah, so as I read this, there is a carve-out for the spouse of a U.S. citizen. There is a carve-out for children of U.S. citizens and adoptees, but there is no carve-out, as I read it, for parents of U.S. citizens. So parents of U.S. citizens, at least as my quick reading, would be subject to this temporary ban. Hopefully it'll be overturned by the courts or a presidential election. Let's move on. I already answered this question. We have Swagatika Prusty. Are AOS applicants affected? Okay, the answer is no, they are not affected. And just to clarify what the question is, she or he is asking whether people who are applying for green cards within the United States through the adjustment of status application process who have filed I-485s, whether those people are subject to this ban, and they are not, because it's only to people who are outside the United States. So you don't have to worry about that. I hope that answers your question. We have Ibrahim Marji. Ibrahim Marji, what if an I-130 is stuck in administrative processing? Okay, this is a softball question. This is my pet issue. This is the issue that I care most about. If you have an I-130 that is stuck in administrative processing, what you need to do is file a writ of mandamus lawsuit. I can certainly help you with that. Please come at me, message me. I'll be happy to help you out. We have someone named Kevin Akers. He says, you are a social media superstar. I'm new at this, but I really enjoy connecting with people, and I like the response. I hope it's helpful. Thank you, Mr. Akers. Alexander Man, he's coming at me from YouTube. Thank you so much. I'm putting a lot of effort into my YouTube channel, so if you haven't subscribed, please, I would really appreciate some love. Go on there and hit the subscribe button. I'm putting out 3 to 5 videos a week, mostly on immigration and coronavirus topics, so I hope that's helpful. Let me answer your question here. It says, is a J-1 visa affected? If not, what are your thoughts on the travel ban to Europe? Would it continue until July? Thanks in advance for your answer. God bless you. Thank you for your question. As I read this, temporary visas are not impacted. So I mean, the travel ban to Europe is a different matter, and it's not really subject to immigration, so it's hard to say. Here we have somebody from Facebook. I'm going to try to pronounce your name. Shakawat Hossein. Thank you for your question. Beautiful picture of your child on Facebook. I love it. It says, does it apply for married children of U.S. citizens who already have a visa? Who already have a visa issued? So if you already have a visa issued, you don't have to worry about this. If you already have a visa, then you're not subject to this. So I hope that answers your question. Alison Fletcher. Hey, Josh, thanks for doing this. Thanks, Alison. Appreciate it. Can you please comment on Section 6, the review on non-immigrant visas? Okay. You want to get technical? Section 6 says, within 30 days of the proclamation, the Secretary of Labor and Homeland Security, in consultation with the Secretary of State, shall review non-immigrant programs and shall recommend to me other measures appropriate to stimulate the economy and ensure production. Yeah, I mean, this is additional measures. So 30 days from now, we will see what they come up with. Maybe they'll restrict immigration further. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what they will do. What happened, I think, is that Trump comes up with a tweet, and then they try to come up with a executive order to match the tweet. So it's very hard to say. We have Majeed Al-Lehabi. Thank you for your question. He says, hi, thank you for your kind and continued support. Thank you, my friend. Does suspending immigration mean a travel ban to the United States, even those who hold B visas? If you have a B visa, then I think you would have trouble entering the United States subject to this ban. But if you already have an immigrant visa, you can come in. Here we have somebody with a very difficult name, Hiren Kumar Mistry. I have a question. My current H-1B is valid until August 30th, 2020. Will it get impact for me? Not sure if it's increased more days or not. It's a good question. If you're in the United States, I don't think that would be impacted. Hope that answers your question. Let me get back to my key points. So this ban does not apply to the spouses and children of U.S. citizens if the children are under 21. It doesn't apply. It applies to all other family-based cases, such as spouses and children of permanent residents. It applies to adult sons and daughters of citizens, parents of citizens, and brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. It doesn't apply to permanent residents. So if you're a permanent resident and you're outside the United States, it doesn't apply. It also does not apply to EB-5 investors. If you have an EB-5 visa or you're seeking an EB-5 visa, you don't have to worry about this. There's a big carve out for physicians and healthcare professionals. There's also an exemption for military and law enforcement, and it's in place for 60 days, and it'll probably be extended beyond that. This does not impact citizenship. If you're applying for citizenship through the naturalization process, you don't have to worry about this. If you're applying for a green card within the United States, you don't have to worry about this. If you're applying for if you're applying to remove the conditions on your green card through the I-751 process, you also don't have to worry about this. You are not impacted. I have plenty of people out there who are seeking green cards or immigrant visas and who've been stuck at consulates and who have spouses who are U.S. citizens. You don't have to worry about this either. I hope this answers your questions. I will be back on and making other videos as this comes out. Let's see if I have any other questions here. We have the Honorable Joseph Dim. Hi, Joshua. Thank you for spending your precious time to help those in need. Please, someone who applied for VAWA, that's the Violence Against Women Act, to help immigrants who are in abusive relationships, says, can that be withdrawn and file for a marriage green card after coming back to the spouse? Boy, that's a tough question. I think you need to consult with a lawyer pretty carefully. There's going to be some big questions that immigration is going to have for you with that. Here we have, will the processing times decrease now that the workload for USCIS has also decreased? Wishful thinking, Kamadosh, wishful thinking. I want to live in a world where that's true. Let's say that. Diversity visa lottery, I think, would be impacted by this. Again, this is subject to litigation. The diversity visa was created by Congress. It's a law. I don't know if you can suspend that by citing to this section of the Immigration Act. So there's going to be litigation for sure. Here we have Trinidriven. Joshua, I hope you're well. I hope you're well, my friend. Thank you for tuning in through Facebook. I hope this is, Instagram, YouTube. Hope this is helpful. It says, what about the widower of a U.S. citizen within the 2-year requirement? You're talking about 204L. We have a few cases like that right now. I don't think that would be impacted. I don't think that would be impacted as I read this. So I don't think you have to worry about that. Here we have Hiren Kumar Mishdi. Yes, he's in California. A fellow Golden Stater. This is good to know. It says here, we have a friend whose name is in Arabic. I cannot read this, unfortunately, because I don't know Arabic. I wish I did. Salam alaikum. It says here, will this order affect the spouses of U.S. citizens? I heard it won't. You heard right. This is great news. Spouses of citizens are not impacted. Here we have Benny. Love the picture, Benny. Approved K1, okay. You should be okay. That's sort of a hybrid immigrant visa, non-immigrant visa. Well, it's an immigrant visa, but your spouse or your fiance is a U.S. citizen. Actually, that's a good question. It does not apply to, I'm not sure. If you have an approved K1, do you already have the visa? If you already have the visa, then I think you'd be okay. Advanced parole out of the U.S., I think you're good to go, Chuck. You're good to go. What other questions do you have for me? Keep them coming, people. I love to see these questions. She is a UK citizen, and I'm a US citizen. So if you're a US citizen and you petitioned for her, she does not have an immigrant visa. Does she already have, Benny, does she already have the visa? That would be a question I have. Does she already have this visa? She already has it approved through June 21st. So if she already has the visa in her hand and she's waiting to come to the U.S., so as I read it, she should be good to go, because this proclamation does not apply to people who, it only applies to people who don't have that visa already. So I think she should be good to go. Contact me if you have other questions. O'Neill Small says, Josh, you said you had a video on how to apply for an immigrant visa extension. I can't find it, or can't find where to look at it. I will find your comment in YouTube, and I will send you the video, or message me somehow, and I will get it to you, because I have a whole video on how to do this, and I think everybody wants to know that. Here, Benny, she says she does have the enclosed envelope. You should be good to go. You should be good to go. I hope you're good to go. As I read it, you should be good to go. But keep in touch with me if there's anything I can do to help you out. So I expect, what do I expect to happen next? I expect there's going to be litigation, and the litigation will take time to play out. It will be similar to the Muslim ban. It's going to take several months for this all to play out, and we won't have exact clarity for a while on this, but that's what I expect will happen. And I will be here making videos and coming live all the time until your questions are answered. If you need help or you have questions, please let me know. We're all going through this together. Stay safe, be well, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, people.